guys, welcome to a new day on the homestead. I'm so excited to give you guys a garden update. I'm just going to give you guys a tour and show you everything that has been happening in the garden, things that are growing and things that sadly did not make it. We are in May now. We are going into June pretty soon here in Zone 9B in Las Vegas, and we are hitting very high temperatures pretty early this time around, which was very disappointing. So I think this past weekend alone, we actually hit the triple digits. We already hit 100 degrees. So today's a little bit cooler. I think today was just like 90, which is pretty good for us. So for those who understand living in the desert, 90 is pretty good. So I'm just gonna give you guys a walk around and show you everything that is growing and things that really surprised me that are growing. And also I have new plans for the garden, things that I am still brainstorming about. But also I haven't been able to post as much as I would like to, just because life has been a little hectic in a good way. You guys know that we had just recently moved to a new place, so settling into a new place can be quite a lot, but it's been all good things. And I think that we are slowly getting more and more settled. Every time I felt like we were getting settled, there's just another thing that we have to do. But it is all good. Now I'm gonna take time to really take care of the homestead, and now we're going into our summer break, which I am looking forward to. So for those who work in the school district, we are excited for this season of the year because we have like about 2-3 months of summer break here in the US, which is really exciting. So this is like our longest break if you work for the school district. So okay, I think that's pretty much it. Nothing else is new. Everything is the same. So let's go ahead and do a quick little tour. Okay, so we're gonna start in this little area here. So this is actually a volunteer tomato plant. We actually have quite a few. And this was the pot that had the garlic, if you guys remember. And unfortunately, the garlic did not do too well this season. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was because maybe I should have taken out the tomato, and that's what I think I should have done, because I know that tomatoes are heavy eaters and maybe they didn't like competing with the garlic. Although I read that garlic and tomatoes grow well together, maybe I was reading the wrong zone area. So I don't know what happened, but the garlic only grew this much. It didn't grow much bigger. So I'll show you guys, I'll try to insert some pictures so that you guys can see how many I was able to take out, and I'll show you how big they got as well. Although they didn't fully develop, I was still pretty excited to take these out of the soil. So this is all I got as well. But here I'll show you guys how many tomatoes decided to volunteer themselves. And actually I'm pretty excited about it because I thought I wasn't gonna get any tomatoes this season, but I ended up getting some. So let me just show you guys really quick. Okay, so I wanted to start by saying that we got, let me see, 1, 2, 3, and 4 volunteer plants, tomato plants. And I was really surprised, but I'm pretty excited because I love tomatoes. So you can see some of these are going to be coming out pretty soon. This one is still maturing. This one was a recent new one and we decided to put it in here. But I want to show you guys all the tomatoes that are growing so far. Well, first of all, look at how big. Look at how big it grew. This is how tall it is. It's actually quite impressive for a volunteer plant that was growing with the garlic. I am pretty impressed. So now you guys look at these gorgeous tomatoes. They are already turning red I have been feeding them with the fish fertilizer, and then as soon as these started to come out, I'll show you a before picture of how they used to look. As soon as these came out, I started to put a banana fertilizer in there because tomatoes need potassium. So it's basically just banana peels and water. That's all it is. You just let it soak, and then you put it in all the plants that need potassium, like tomatoes. So these are my beautiful tomatoes that are actually doing fabulous. Even this one here. And then I also have a few new ones that are coming up, and I wanted to show you guys how cute and tiny they are. Look at that. I counted like about 7 new tomatoes. I mean, look how incredible that is. And then we have one up here as well. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Oh my goodness. Look at this little tiny tomato. So I'm pretty excited. Oh, I can't wait for them to come out. And then we have a couple of more flowers up here, and they just keep coming out. They're slowly growing into some more tomatoes, and we also have some more flowers this side too. And these are all gonna be tomatoes. So that is the upgrade on the tomato plants, the volunteer tomato plants. Look at that, you guys. I'm so excited. I think what I'm mostly excited about is to have a taste, and hopefully they taste really good. So I am mostly excited to see if the tomatoes are gonna taste like anything really. So I'm so eager for them to grow, and they're growing so quickly, which was also really impressive. This is my first time having success with any vegetable and this one was like a volunteer one, so makes it even better. Okay, so let's move on. I want to show you guys the corn. Ooh. Okay, so if you guys remember, I was trying to grow some corn. I was experimenting with corn, and I was trying to figure out where it would grow best, if it would grow best in a container or if it would grow best on the ground. Corn grows very well in high heat temperatures, so that's why I decided to really invest in just experimenting and seeing where it would grow the best. So this is the first set of corn that I had put in, and it was in containers, and this is the progress. I also have another couple seeds that I sprouted over there, but I'll get to that in just a moment. So let me just show you guys up close how the corn looks. My microphone kind of went out here, so I'm just going to repeat what I was saying here. I'm just showing you guys the height of the corn, which I believe is going to get a lot more taller, and I'm very happy that I was able to do it in a container. It kind of helps you to have a little bit more control. But what I would do differently here is definitely not put so many seeds inside. I didn't know that all the seeds were going to germinate because these seeds were a bit old. So I'm just like counting that how many corn is growing in here, and there's about 5 of them. So yeah, I did not expect them all to germinate, but the corn seeds did incredibly well germinating. So that was definitely a lesson learned. I think you can only do like 1 to 2 per container. So I don't know. But something I learned as well is to mulch very heavy. And I put about like 3 inches of mulch in this container. And that has been helping so that I don't have to water it so often. And although you guys can see like some of the leaves did burn a little bit, that was only because I missed like 1 day of watering. So that wasn't good. you should never take a risk here in Las Vegas, you guys, especially if the heat is already here. You need to make sure to water your plants. But you can see the corn is developing quite well so far, I think. I hope so. But I do have to change the fertilizer. That's one thing I need to start researching what I need to do next, because I can already see that I can't use the fish fertilizer because it's too mild. Now we're going to need to add something else. And I'm also just pointing out like the fuzziness that's coming out of the corn. And I was just curious of what that was, if that's part of the process. But it's looking very good. And this is the second container, as you can see. I did the same thing. I added about like 3 inches of mulch, and you can see the corn really germinated here as well. And I also had put a bush bean in there because I was told the bush beans are really good to grow with corn, but it didn't do well in the container. So I think that maybe there wasn't enough space in there for the bush bean and the corn because of the space. But overall, I think it is growing just fine, and it's handling the heat just fine too. I'm just showing you the inside where you can see the tassels, which is a good sign, I assume. But I'm not too sure how tall the corn has to get. Yeah, that's all. For the corn, I ended up fertilizing about every second week. I did fish fertilizer, and now I believe I have to change the fertilizer, and I think it's potassium. I'm not too sure, but I'm gonna take a look at that because it's time for me to start changing that fertilizer. I can't keep using the fish fertilizer. It's not going to help it develop the corn. So I'll figure that one out pretty soon because I have to start changing that up. Okay, so let's move on. So as excited as I was for the beds, they did not succeed as I thought that they would. So a lot of the things died almost instantly. So I'm gonna show you guys around, and I'm gonna also share with you guys what I would like to do differently as well. So on this bed here, this was supposed to be the tomato bed, and nothing survived. There was tomatoes. There was also supposed to be basil and spinach. As you guys can see, nothing survived except this little small tomato. And the biggest issue was the cat pooping. Cats kept coming in. I don't know how they would find a way to come in, but they would find a way inside. Even if I would have it covered with this, they would come inside and poop. And also the flower bed, I think the flower bed was a good idea, but the flower seeds, I had to do that differently. So I need to redo that one again. But the flower bed was not a bad idea. So let me show you guys here. This was the carrots and the onion bed. And everything died here too because cats kept coming in and pooping in here too. So we didn't have any survivors there at all. Hey guys, I'm so sorry about the microphone cutouts. I think because it was so windy, it was cutting off the microphone or making like disruptions, but I'll just do a voiceover throughout the video and I'll just repeat what I was saying. So here I'm basically just uncovering the second bed, and I'm just showing you guys that here I was growing beets and also spinach and bush beans as well. And I was very surprised that the beets were growing. So this here, I wasn't sure if it was spinach, but here's a little small beetroot. It's doing its best to survive. And then a bush bean that did not survive and another bush bean that did not survive. I was very disappointed because I really wanted the bush beans to do well. I actually had planted so many all around the bed, so I don't know what happened. I clearly got the math wrong somewhere. And then here are the beets. They're developing slowly and they're actually doing a very good job. This is better than the first time I tried to grow beets. The first time they died almost instantly, or they just didn't germinate well. But here they're doing very good and slowly getting there, and some of them are popping up now. So I'm pretty excited about it, and I'll take whatever is growing. Everything else died, but whatever's growing is growing. So let's move on to the next one. And I like to keep it covered so that I can avoid the cats coming in, but they don't seem to come into this one very much, which is good. So now this bed definitely surprised me. This bed surprised me quite a lot. This is the last bed, and it surprised me because I didn't expect there to be a volunteer tomato in here, given that this bed was dedicated to peas, two different varieties of peas, and also different varieties of radish. So I was like, what is this? So when I recognized that it was a tomato, I was pretty happy because at least something grew, because everything else died, including the radish that I don't see it developing well any further. But the peas also didn't manage, and I was looking forward to it. But I don't know what happened. I don't know if maybe I should have started the peas indoors first. But we'll see. I think next time that's what I'll do. I will try them indoors next time. And it's already flowering. This one grew very quickly. It's already flowering. As you can see there, we have quite a few this side as well. So it's doing pretty good for a volunteer tomato. At first I thought it was like a broccoli maybe, I don't know. But it's doing pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and cover that up. And in order to avoid squashing the tomatoes, I just plump up the fence like that. So it's just going over it. And it's safe and sound inside. So I'm thinking next time I am going to start the peas indoors, because peas are my favorite thing to eat. I will definitely start the peas indoors and then transplant them outside. Some people say that direct sowing would be just fine. I did that, and I did it around the time that I was supposed to, but it didn't work. So I was very sad, but that's okay because we have a volunteer tomato, which is pretty good. So we'll see how that goes. Just show you guys quickly what I want to do differently for the garden beds. So for the garden beds, I want to have them side by side instead of how I have it like this, like an L shape. I decided that having it side by side would be better, because then I can put a trellis that goes around it on both sides, and it would allow me to have a walkway inside, but also whatever I would grow on that trellis too can create a shade. And that's as far as I got. But that's kind of what I was thinking, because everything else that I thought of was not going to work. And I know like how I have the shade set up, I was supposed to have it set up on top, but I didn't have time because I moved and all of that. So for now, this is how I'm gonna leave it. But I'm thinking that what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove all the soil here and I'm gonna move these beds here. I'm gonna move this aside. I'm gonna have them side to side, create a trellis that hooks to the other bed. And I think that would be nicer, and it would allow me to grow cucumbers and zucchinis and also the peas. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. But anyways, let me show you the back side where I was genuinely surprised. And now this is the little section that we kind of experimented on. And this also has corn. So let me remove the shade. I am working very hard to avoid any burn on these poor vegetables because Vegas sun can really burn you. So let's start on this side. I thankfully was able to, I did my best to name what was growing. I finally got success germinating a watermelon. I did this as an experiment to see if the watermelon liked it better back here, and it does. Last time I did it, it was in the front and it literally didn't even try, but here it seems to like it. So I did a good job there. So I think next time I will definitely try to germinate a couple more watermelon seeds this side. I only did one because I didn't think much was gonna come out of it. And then here I try to do many rows of corn, and it was incredibly hard to germinate the corn this side. I was just explaining here that the soil was very cold, and that's why I was having a very hard time to germinate these seeds because of the soil being so cold on this side, because of the lack of sun. Like now there's sun, but it doesn't have sun like all morning. So the soil is not warm enough. But as soon as the temperature started to get high, the soil started to warm up so much better. And that's when the seeds germinated, but they germinated very late, which is fine. At least it germinated. Here I'm just showing you guys there's like a ladybug in there, and that kind of made me excited because they say ladybugs are a sign that the garden is doing something right. So I hope something good comes out of it. So aside from the corn that is trying to survive, I also tried to put a ton of bush beans along the side, but not many of them survived, as you can see. But this one, I don't know why this one thrived. This one did a very good job surviving its environment, and it's even growing 2 beans. That's pretty impressive. I mean, it's not a lot, but you know. It's not a lot, but it'll do. It's my first time. And we'll move along this side. And here we have a huge, beautiful, leafy zucchini. I have to say this one confused me because I thought it was my chili, my hot chilies. And then I saw the flowers and I was like, wait, this is zucchini. And I had forgotten that I planted zucchini here. So we have a beautiful zucchini plant. Let me show you guys the inside. I think that I definitely need to start changing the fertilizer. I was also using the fish fertilizer for this one, which is why I think I have huge leaves. But I can see that inside we're gonna get a couple of zucchinis. And then underneath the zucchini, I believe this is another zucchini plant. I don't know. I believe this is also zucchini. Yeah, I think it's zucchini. And then this one, I believe it's an eggplant, but I'm not sure. That's what I wrote, that it's an eggplant. So that's what I have here. That is what I assume is growing here. And that is all that survived, because here was supposed to be some bell peppers. We're supposed to get bell peppers here, cucumbers here, and celery was supposed to grow back there, but it did not survive, which is okay because I was experimenting in this area. So in this bed here, I ended up mixing the organic soil with the topsoil mix with a lot of compost and a lot of worm casting, and I fertilized it heavily. So I think that's why there was a lot of success here, and also there's a lot of shade here. So honestly, I was pretty surprised, and I think I just might grow some more food next time here. Actually thinking, because I realized that food was growing very well this side, that I think that I will also use this whole section here as well to grow food as well. But what I was thinking, this will only be for summer. And I say that because the soil here is actually so cold, and it was so hard to germinate some of the seeds that typically germinate well if you just direct sow, because the soil is so cold, because not a lot of sun hits here during the day. So I think I will use this as a summer crop area, and then over there I would just use this as my winter spring crop, because we need a lot of warmth there, a lot of sun during the spring winter time. So I think that it would do very well being where the sun is hitting during winter and springtime. I would not use this little area for any summer crops. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So that was pretty much it. There is nothing else to it, but I'm pretty excited because now that I can understand what everything is and how everything looks and what makes the most sense, now I know how things would make more sense here in the yard and how I should place things and what should grow where. So I have a better idea now, and also I'm feeling a lot more confident in the garden, which is also nice. And I'm excited for my tomatoes. So stay tuned for some of those fun projects. I definitely need to do a major garden update. And hopefully I can work on some of those smaller projects during the summertime. Now that I'm going to be on break, it will definitely allow me more time to just focus on little projects. I won't do any major gardening projects just because the heat gets so intense here, and I just don't recommend it, especially because I don't have a shade over me to work in. So I'm going to keep it simple, just work on little tiny projects that I can manage. And then once the temperatures cool down again, probably in October, I'll start some of the major projects. So we'll see how it goes. I might change my mind. I might come early in the morning and get some of those major projects done during the summer, but we'll see. But that's all for today. Thank you for being my guest, and I will see you guys next time.